just hang on slightly until it pops up for me. There we go. Okay. So yeah, welcome everyone to today's workshop. Really excited about this one. We're going to be covering off more information around Dynamics 365 sales. We're going to be looking at focusing on the SMB market. Just a couple of items beforehand. If you can keep yourselves on mute, that'd be great. But if you have got questions, do come off mute, or feel free to use the chat window. The last couple of workshops have been really engaging. Lots of questions, so feel free to put those in there. We will be kind of finishing the session part, if you like, kind of 25-30 minutes before close, so we can do a good question and answer section and also a bit of a round table discussion with all of our speakers, which is going to be really great. So yeah, welcome everyone. And for anyone who's confused, I will just say it one more time. Dental emergency at my house today, which has left me looking after the baby. But luckily, you've only got me for 10 minutes or so, so it's absolutely fine. And she normally stays quiet. Yeah. And she's used to the Dynamics conversations now, so she should be really engaging as well. So yeah, massive welcome to everyone. Firstly, just to introduce myself, so Matthew Batterby, I'm part of the global portfolio management team here at Ingram Micro Cloud. So my role is supporting heading up the business applications business globally and supporting all of our markets and helping partners grow good business applications businesses, working with Microsoft, working with our partners like Cloud9 and Azomba that'll be joining us today. And when they come to do their sessions, I'll allow them to introduce themselves also. I don't want to take up too much time at the beginning. There's Peter now. Welcome, Peter. So yeah, we've got a really good lineup. We're going to be talking, as I say, Dynamics 365 sales. And what I will say, if you didn't join the previous workshops, don't worry. It's not exactly a direct follow-on, so you don't have to have watched the previous ones, but they are available to watch on demand. So feel free to watch those after this as well. So, obviously we're here to learn about Dynamics 365 sales. We're here to, capitalize on what is an incredible opportunity globally. So the opportunity, the CRM software market is the largest software market globally. And there's no signs of it slowing down at all. It continues to grow. There's around 78 million SMBs worldwide, with around 50 million new startup businesses starting up every year. So a huge opportunity here, and many of these startups feel like they don't need a CRM. When in fact they do, and a lot of startups fail because they don't have the right solutions in place. So there's a big opportunity there as well with startup organizations. And it's, as I said, it continues to grow. You're looking at an $80 billion global CRM market by 2025. Those are the predictions. So an absolute huge opportunity. And from what we've seen and what statistics I've seen, around 50% of businesses are planning for a new CRM solution in 2021. And just overall to increase their IT budget, to increase the IT budget. And one other statistic that I thought that was really interesting was that 10% of businesses actually admit to just not using a CRM system at all. So there we go. My wife's just got home, so I can carry on. There you go. Sorry about that, guys. Thank you. Bye, Maeva. So yes, 10% of businesses admit to not using a CRM system. They're using, Excel is a common one that they use. And Excel's great. I love it. Everyone that knows me, I'm a big Excel geek, but it's not a CRM system. As much as you can personalize it, you can build stuff, it's great, it's not a CRM system. So it's, we're going to be talking around those sorts of things. And there's some of the opportunity as well of how you can capitalize on this and the conversations you could be having with your customers. And the opportunity is not just about the Dynamics market, the CRM market, it's about what adding Dynamics to your offering can do for you as well. So if you're not currently transacting Dynamics, or maybe you've done a couple of opportunities and you're still kind of learning what the opportunity is, some things that we're seeing at Ingram Micro Cloud, the main one being it helps to reduce customer churn. We're seeing that when partners are adding Dynamics into their offering and business applications in general, but they become much stickier to their customers. And through our P2P program that we have, again, working with Cloud9, Azomba, and other partners as well, we're enabling our partners to get up and running with biz apps much quicker, and start selling those licenses, working with great partners that we have that can provide implementation services and pre-sale support and things like that. And again, it's really helping you stay sticky to your customers and keep more of your existing revenue. And also, helping you to increase your margins. For every $1 a margin on Microsoft 365, there's up to $8 a margin on Dynamics 365. So it really helps you to increase your value as a business and what your earnings are as well. And from that perspective, it's the highest incentive earner from Microsoft as well. So again, you can help to improve those margins on the back end as well with your incentives. We're also seeing that it's driving more Azure consumption and it's driving more Microsoft 365 upsell as well, and customers using more of Microsoft 365, and really using it for what it's there for, using Microsoft Teams with Dynamics embedded into Outlook, all these great things that you can use when you're adding Dynamics 365 into your offering. And obviously it's a great opportunity. And how you can get started, there's a few things that we can do for you at Ingram Micro Cloud with the support of our partners, with the support of the Microsoft resources that are available as well, that we can point you to the direction of, which I'll share screen shortly actually and just show a couple of those. But I just want to highlight that I've been doing, again, massive Excel geek, and I've been doing a lot of data diving recently on the success of our Accelerate program. And from what we've seen for the partners that we have activated onto BizApps globally over the last 12 months, they've actually grown, combined their all cloud business. That includes M365, Azure, and BizApps. They've grown their business by around 66% combined. Whereas when we look at partners that haven't added BizApps into their offering, the combined growth there is around 35%. So really, not only just data that we have seen from Microsoft and some, really impressive things driving Azure consumption, what we're seeing internally as well in our existing partners through our program is really impressive as well, and really exciting for us as we go into Microsoft FY22, and we really look to double down on this and add more support and do more for our partners. And we've over doubled the number of business partners globally as well over the last 12 months, which we're really excited about. So what I want to do is just show a couple of these resources that I'm talking about, and this is going to be a sneak peek because I don't have all day, and I want to give Karen as much time as possible to do her session, and Kurt and Peter as well. Highlight our partner teams channel. If you've joined one of our workshops before, you've seen this, but it's a great place to ask questions, get updates. We've got a great file storage area for things like pitch decks, marketing resources, elevator pitches, Microsoft Partner Network resources, how to spend your co-op funding, all those kind of things, marketing campaigns, and really useful websites as well. Like the Transform Partner website. They have one for Dynamics, also one for Power Platform, M365, and Azure. I knew I'd forgot one. They've got them for them as well. Really brilliant resources, all within one place in our Teams channel. So if you're not in there, feel free to reach out to me and we can get you added into our Teams channel. And then again, whistle-stop tour of some of our resources that we have. Our Dynamics 365 partner guide, it's very big, and I'm really looking forward to updating this for FY22. But this is just a PDF, but we've created it as a click-through guide, as a one-stop shop for you to access Dynamics information, be it licensing, be it compete information versus things like Salesforce. If you're going from an old license to a new license within Dynamics, there's all that information in there as well. Migration path links. There's information on key selling points of Dynamics as well. So all in one place. Really, really useful document again, and again, we keep this as up to date as possible. It's really hard keeping up, but we will be revamping this for FY22. Really excited to do that. Things like conversation guides as well to help you discover those opportunities in your existing customer base that we've built, and there's also ones from Microsoft as well. So we've got access to all of these again in our Teams channel as well. Pitch decks. We make sure that we harness what Microsoft put out there. And some of this stuff is hard to find. I'd be the first to admit that. But when we find this, or we source it, or Karen is kind enough to send us these documents, they go into our Teams channel. We make sure our partners are aware of them. So again, all this collateral is really going to help you, have that pre-sales conversation with your customer. We'll support with different routes to market as well. We've taught P2P. There are other routes to market as well. There's loads of resources Microsoft put out there as well to help partners build their practice around Dynamics as well. So don't worry, this isn't a slide that's designed to be read in 2 seconds while I'm sharing screen. But all these resources are linked. It's just a 1-page PDF that we can send out, and you can go and have a look at some of these resources. As mentioned, we work with great elite service providers. We've got Cloud9 Insight and Azomba working with us today that are some of the world's best in the dynamic CRM space. So I'm really looking forward to their sessions. But again, we can provide introductions there and help you work with these partners. Microsoft Learn, there's 62 learning paths when you look at Dynamics 365 sales. So there's a great place to start as well. Introduction into Dynamics, a quick hour course, just to give you that base level knowledge. But there's some really great stuff in here, really help you deep dive into, how to manage leads in Dynamics and things like that. Other resources available from Microsoft, the technical pre-sales and deployment services as well. So, if you're an Action Pack Silver or Gold partner from Microsoft, you'll have access to what they call advisory hours to help you from a technical consultant perspective. I know that Scott, who's joined us from our Buffalo office, he's got some great experience of supporting partners in actually using these and then having a success story off the back of it as well. So I won't steal his thunder around that. But again, there's some really great, we can maybe come back to that at the end or something and talk more about how we've used those. But a really great resource that's available to you. Cloud Enablement Desk, a great Microsoft resource to help you one-to-one for up to 6 months to support you on your cloud journey. Be that you want to get a solution into AppSource, you want to get to co-sell, you're going to market with a new solution, anything like that. There's great support that's available. Marketing and pre-sales resources. I mentioned the pitch decks, the conversation guides. There's some really great resources. Again, I go into Dynamics 365. There's over 1,000 items in here. Marketing assets. There's pitch decks, as I mentioned. There's email templates. There's conversation guides. There's FAQ sheets. There is just all sorts in here. I really could spend a lot of time on this. There's case studies. There's all sorts of things in here. There's specific now SMB websites as well for Dynamics. So thinking about the SMB market. And again, you can go down here, you can specifically look at Dynamics 365 sales, but let's not forget about Business Central, and let's not forget about the Power Apps opportunity as well. So there's some really great content and collateral within here that will help you from an SMB perspective really focus on your market as well. And then, as I've already mentioned, the Transform Partner website is literally one of the best websites I've seen from Microsoft specific to partners. And again, they have them for all these different clouds as well. So I just really wanted to highlight very quickly, and I might have gone over slightly, but just kind of how many resources are available to you as a partner to really help you get into Dynamics, how we can support you as well. And I'm not shying away from the fact that, we will use Microsoft resources to help you get up to speed with Dynamics. There's absolutely no shame in that. We've built an incredible program, but Microsoft have got so much content there. And I know as partners, it's hard to find, so let us find that for you and let us help you. So just to recap what we've kind of talked about in the last 10 minutes, I know it's been a whistle stop. So, I know I talk very fast. So hopefully you've kept up, but if you want to have a bit more of a slower, calmer conversation with me, let's pick up offline and we can do that one-to-one. That's absolutely fine. But, that size of that opportunity again, and, the things like the number of Microsoft 365 users globally, and think about, we're at 145 million active daily users on Teams. I mean, there's 740,000 businesses in the US alone.
Hi, good morning. I have requested I have the SAM account, and I was requesting.
There we go. Businesses in the US alone using our Microsoft 365, and only around 1% currently use Dynamics as well. So this opportunity is huge. And think about these users using competitor solutions as well. Salesforce up to around 4 million users, HubSpot around 114,000 users, Pipedrive 95,000 users, 95,000 businesses using these solutions, and how we can really enable customers. None of those have the advantages of Dynamics 365 being seamlessly embedded with the tools that our customers use today, the likes of Teams, Outlook. Why use Microsoft 365 and then not use Dynamics 365? And why they should. Things like, worrying about security, data being siloed off, the lack of productivity, unable to customize, the solutions aren't helping them improve their customer service, improve their sales conversions. not enabling them to work remotely and access data from anywhere. And speaking of data, not helping them actually use their data, for things like forecasting and sales and all sorts. So all in all on that, a good CRM system, it's only going to become more prevalent. Yeah, I need a drink of water. In the years to come. And as I mentioned earlier, it's the largest software market globally, with absolutely no signs of slowing down. So the opportunity for Microsoft partners is huge. And hopefully I've highlighted a few of the ways, I know it was quick, but how we can help partners really get off the ground with our one-of-a-kind Accelerate program, enable you to grow across all clouds as well. So hopefully you've seen a bit of that. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stop talking, and I'm going to hand over to Karen for your session. Hopefully I've left you with enough time. Don't feel like you have to stop. We can shorten the bit at the end. That's absolutely fine. So thank you everyone for listening. And Karen, over to you.
Thanks so much, Matthew. Are you able to hear me okay? And can you see my slide?
We can indeed, and can indeed.
Okay, fantastic. Well, thank you, Matthew, and I appreciate all the work that you folks do at Tech Data to organize all the Microsoft information. I think sometimes the biggest value I bring as a Microsoft person is, or the skill I've learned in 15 years is how to find things within Microsoft. So I appreciate that, and yes, there's lots of great resources available for you, and hopefully I'm going to point you to another one today in the Partner Sales Demo Playbook. So we have several playbooks available, and if you've attended any of the Business Central stuff, you may have seen my teammate Craig Kruskus talk about the Business Central playbook. But we've created, I created this playbook on Dynamics 365 Sales last winter. And I'm going to walk through it today, and it's something that you'll be able to take away as a resource to help you. If you're new to Dynamics 365 Sales, or as a resource if you're already in it and need to learn more, it's a resource that you could use with your customers. So my name is Karen Moen. I am a partner technical architect in our partner organization, working with many partners around, helping them understand Dynamics 365. So really, really excited to be here today. So let's jump in to this playbook and what it's all about. See, there we go. Okay. So this playbook, I'm going to provide you with the ability to download this and the link to download this afterwards. And I just wanted to show you a couple intro slides here, or information that are part of the playbook. This first is just kind of a disclaimer, and really what the purpose of the playbook is, if you look right here, is really to help sales, marketing, some of your pre-sales technical people understand the business challenges that Dynamics 365 Sales addresses, and then also provide a playbook that where you can demo to your customers. So you see down here, it says they'll when you download this, there's two versions of the playbook. There's one with these pop-up bubbles that will walk you through click-through demos, and that's what I'm going to show you today. But and it's really can get you started. This is something you can take with a little bit of prep and start presenting to your customers right away. So that's a disclaimer. Then this is just a little more information about navigating the playbook, and some of there's a demo library here of 8 specific demos that are part of the playbook today. I'm working on updating this and adding some additional scenarios to it. So let's go ahead and jump in. So here is kind of the main slide within the playbook, that in each of these boxes here represent a different demo scenario. And when you use this playbook, you could walk through each of these demo scenarios for your customer sequentially if you prefer, or you can pick the ones that are most appropriate for your customers and just show those. If we were to go through all of these demos today, it would take us a few hours. So I'm going to pick just a couple key ones and walk you through those. But again, you'll be able to download this playbook. In addition to the click-through demo slides, there's also video recording of each of these demo scenarios that I put together. So you could go through each of these and see me presenting it and hear the talking points. Within the playbook, there are, within the notes, there's speaker notes that tell you exactly what you need to say with each of the slides and what capabilities are covered. So you can take this and use it right away. Then you can also, of course, change the talking points and change what's covered in the slides if you want to. But it gets you started in covering the main things. So let's go ahead. You'll notice that there's 4 kind of essential sales experiences and 4 that are more advanced. So what I'm going to do is walk through this first one, which is Tailor interactions with customers. And that's all about using Dynamics 365 with Outlook, right? If all of you are, or many of you are familiar with Microsoft 365, familiar with Outlook, your customers are already using that. Wouldn't it be great to be able to use Dynamics 365 sales right in Outlook? I'm going to show you that. Then I'm going to kind of show you the nuts and bolts of the guided sales process. And then I'm going to probably go down to this stay on top of your day. This is some advanced capabilities using artificial intelligence to kind of prompt users. So we'll see how far we get. Then some additional, I'll just touch briefly on some of these additional ones, and then we'll jump into the first demo. This collaborate on sales opportunities is all about the integration with Teams. Dynamics 365 will integrate with Teams as well. Something Matthew mentioned, there's a large usage of Teams out there. So that's a great one to look at. Work on the go, this is all about the mobile capability. There's, of course, a Dynamics 365 sales mobile app that can be used. Increasing sales performance is all about dashboards, using the integration with Excel and integrating with Power BI. Strengthening customer relationships is about the ability to even connect in with LinkedIn and leverage social networks. And then gathering customer feedback is using our customer voice, which is the ability to survey customers and do this all seamlessly right within Dynamics 365 sales. So let's go ahead and jump in to demo number 1, which is Tailor interactions with customers. So all I need to do is just click right here and I'll jump into this demo scenario. So this particular scenario, as sellers are juggling an increasing number of stakeholders today, right? It's harder to tailor and personalize interactions with customers, but that's really what customers want. They want you to know them and respond to them, not in a generic way, but in a way that makes them feel like you know them and understand them. So working with seamlessly in Outlook is very important. And Dynamics 365 Sales does just that. You can view customer records and all interactions of sales activities right within Outlook. And without switching apps, a seller can respond to a customer email with all of the context and knowledge of the previous interactions that you've had with that customer. So what you're going to notice in this demo is that the seller can easily, right within Outlook, kind of surface all the customer engagement sales records from Dynamics 365 Sales in their Outlook inbox. I'm going to show you the web version of that, but this can also be done in the full Outlook client, on Outlook on a phone. So it works wherever someone's accessing Outlook. You can access Dynamics 365 at the same time. So really, this is going to show you how easy it is for a seller to tailor and personalize an email response back to a customer using all the Dynamics 365 sales information. This particular demo has 4 parts. We're going to walk through reviewing a customer email, reviewing sales interactions, creating a new lead, and sending a personalized response. And you'll notice here that each of these 8 demo scenarios, you're going to have a slide like this that talks about each step in the demo process. And we'll walk through each of these steps. And then the wrap up at the end of each demo scenario is, here's the benefits of why we showed you this particular demo scenario. So we're going to tell the customer what we're going to show them. We're going to show them, we're going to tell them what we told them, and then give them the benefits at the end. So it's a great way to demo and demo to your customers, as well as emphasize the benefits at the end of each scenario. So let's start with reviewing customer email. So we start here in our Outlook inbox, which all of us are very familiar with. And we see here we've received an email, and I'm acting as Jeff Hay, a salesperson, and my customer is actually Karen Moen from Microsoft. So we see we received an email from Karen, and I can use the Dynamics 365 app for Outlook right here to look up words about Karen Moen in Dynamics 365 Sales. To do that, all I need to do is click on the ellipse right here. It brings up a drop-down dialog box, a list of options I have, and there's some add-ins down here. And I notice I have Dynamics 365. If I click on that, the Dynamics 365 app pane opens right here and automatically loads the customer record in the context of this email. So you'll notice that it opened the account record for Microsoft and the contact record for Karen at Microsoft. And the way it did that, it matched the email of the email coming in with the email I have in Dynamics 365 for Sales and opened the appropriate record. So it does that automatically for us. So very, very easy to just quickly bring up a customer record without having to do anything else. Next, we're going to take a look at some of the sales interactions that we've had with Karen so that we can respond to her in a more personalized way. So if I come back into my inbox, and I'm looking at the account record and the contact record for Karen. If I scroll down, I can see some additional information or different additional ways we've been working with Karen. And I noticed that I have 2 opportunities here. So I've sold things to Karen previously, and we've had a couple won opportunities down here at the bottom. If I want to take a look at one of these opportunities records, all I have to do is click on it. And this opens up the opportunity record in this pane. So I'm looking at a laptop opportunity. It closed at the end of the year. I can see the revenue. I can see that it was won. I can look at, scroll down and look at additional information about this opportunity. If I want to see what products I sold to Karen and Microsoft on this opportunity, I can click the ellipse here and I can select product line items. And here I can see the different products that I sold to Karen for this opportunity. What did Microsoft purchase? Well, first thing I noticed, we used the retail price list, and way down at the bottom here, I noticed that Microsoft bought some of our Fabricam laptops. So Karen is interested in learning about new products, and she's probably interested in Fabricam laptop products because that's what she's previously purchased. So I can see all of that with a couple clicks right in Outlook. So based on the customer email, we kind of know that Karen is interested in learning about new products, and it's important to track all of our sales leads, right? This is a new sales lead for Microsoft and for Karen. So let's go ahead and create a new sales lead for this particular request. And once again, I could do this easily right in Outlook. I don't have to switch over to my Dynamics 365 sales application. I can do it right here. So back in Outlook and in my Dynamics 365 app pane, all I have to do to create a new lead is click the plus button. And notice I can create a number of different types of records, and I'm going to create a lead. I have to enter a topic that describes the lead, so I go ahead and enter that in. If I scroll down here, I can enter the contact name, so I'm going to enter Karen in here because she is my contact. And those are the required fields that I have to create this lead. So once I've added that information, all I need to do is click Save and Close. And notice right here it says your changes were saved. And if I wanted to view that lead record, I could click right here. But in a matter of clicks, I've just created a brand new lead in Dynamics 365 Sales without leaving Outlook. So the last step in this particular demo scenario is, now that I've created my lead and I understand a little bit more about Karen, I want to respond to the email back to her. So let's go ahead and do that. So all I need to do back in my Outlook inbox is click reply. And I can go ahead and type my message to Karen. And then I can also leverage product information that might be stored in Dynamics 365 to personalize this email. So if you remember, we talked about if I could personalize the message back to the customer, it makes them feel good, right? They understand me, they know me. So let's go ahead and personalize this response by adding some product information that's stored in Dynamics. So what I'm going to do is click my ellipse again. I'm going to open up the Dynamics 365 app pane. Within that app pane, I'm going to click the ellipse again. And notice I have an option to insert. I'm going to click insert, and I can add sales literature right here. So if I have sales literature stored in my product catalog in Dynamics 365 Sales, I can select that sales literature and add it to my email. So I click Add Sales Literature. I select products, and I select computer product line. So I know that Karen and Microsoft bought my Fabricam laptops. I know that this computer product line has all the information about my different laptops. So I'm going to click on that. I'm going to select Insert, and notice that a PDF for my Fabricam laptop product guide is automatically added to this email. All I have to do is click Send. My email is sent, and I've successfully sent it to the customer and personalized it. And even though Karen didn't ask for a product guide, I knew she purchased those previously, so I added that to kind of tailor the message for her. So this is an important demo scenario to show for 3 reasons, right? We can see how we can increase seller productivity by allowing them to access Dynamics 365 sales records right within Outlook. They don't have to toggle to another system. We were able to personalize the communication back to the customer because we had access to all that Dynamics 365 sales data right in Outlook. And then we were able to leverage a repository of sales literature to attach a catalog to the email and further personalize it, that response back to the customer. So that, we go back here to my main screen. So that was our first demo scenario. So let me go ahead and go to a second one, and let's walk through following a guided sales process. So organizations these days like to be able to narrow down the options and choices for sellers, right? So Dynamics 365 provides the ability to provide a full end-to-end sales process from creation of the lead all the way to completing the order, and guide a seller through a process of stages and steps that they need to complete to help deals go more smoothly, to help them be more consistent, and hopefully to help close deals faster. So this demo scenario has 5 different steps: identifying the lead, qualifying the lead, developing the opportunity, proposing a solution, and then closing the opportunity as a win. So let's walk through this one. So let's begin by identifying the sales lead. So here we are within our Dynamics 365. And when users launch into the web browser, they come into the Sales Hub application. And this is their main dashboard screen that they'll open up to. So the Sales Hub comes with a number of pre-built dashboards that show work-related sales numbers and activities. So all of these things are kind of key things that a salesperson needs to be concerned about. They want to understand their pipeline of open opportunities. What open leads do they have? If they scroll down, there's some additional charts down here of my open opportunities and my closed opportunities. So we have bar charts, additional charts available. These dashboards, there's a number of them that come out of the box. If I click on that little down arrow, I can see that I have a sales activity dashboard, a sales activity social dashboard, and a sales dashboard. So there's a number of dashboards that come out of the box, but a user can also create their own and customize them themselves. So we want to be able to look at my open leads. So I'm starting my day. I want to take a look at any open leads and things that I should start working on. So right within this dashboard, again, I can click on the ellipse to drill into the dashboards to further analyze my open leads. So all I have to do is click right here on the ellipse and select View Records. So what's happened here is notice within the left navigation, I moved down into this leads area. And I've opened up to a screen to view all of the records that make up this particular pie chart. So I've moved into my leads area, I've got a list of records, and I still have my pie chart from the dashboard. And if I take a look at my list of leads, I notice that I have the brand new lead that I created in Outlook from Karen is listed right here. So I'm going to go ahead and open this lead and start working on it. So here I'm looking at all of the details of the lead that was created in Outlook. I see the topic that was created. I can see Karen as the contact, and I also see that email that I sent. So when I created that lead and sent that email response, it captured that activity right within Dynamics 365 Sales. So I could see that the email that I sent and that I sent Karen the PDF. So now let's walk through qualifying this lead. So at the top of our lead record, we can see a guided sales process. And this is called the lead to opportunity sales process. And this guided process has a series of stages. You'll see 4 of them. You see qualify, you see develop, you see propose, and you see close. Within each of these 4 stages, there's a series of steps or some steps within each stage that need to be completed. So the first thing I'm going to do is click on the qualify stage. When I click on that, I see that I have 7 steps in this stage that need to be completed. And I'll complete the first step by selecting contact. So I do know that Karen Moen is the contact for this particular lead, but I'm going to go in and select her again here. The next step is to select an account. So again, I know Karen is from Microsoft, so I can click on there. I get a list of Microsoft as the account, and I go ahead and select that. Now I'm just going to walk through each of the rest of these steps to complete everything in the qualify stage. So as you can see here, you can create this tailored sales process to guide someone through, right? We want to make sure that every time someone is qualifying a lead, they're walking through each of these 7 steps and not missing anything. And it's a great way to train new salespeople and again, drive consistency in a process. And this particular business process flow comes out of the box with Dynamics 365 Sales, but it could be customized and tweaked for a specific customer need. So let's go ahead and click on select the purchase time frame. So my purchase time frame is immediate because I know Microsoft wants to purchase these laptops right away. I type in a $10,000 as estimated budget. The purchase process is an individual, committee, or unknown. I know that Karen is the lone stakeholder who's going to decide on this purchase, so I select individual. I mark that I have identified a decision maker, and then I could capture some additional notes. Now, you'll see that I completed all those steps. So I have my little green check marks, right? I've completed each step in this stage. And the completion of these steps lets me determine whether this lead should be qualified. And there are 2 ways to qualify a lead in the system. I can just click next stage, or I can click qualify up here. So many organizations, leads come into their sales organizations. They do some research. They maybe talk to the customer. They determine whether to take this lead to the next step. Is it a qualified lead? So this qualification process is very, very common. So what I'm going to do is just select qualify. Once I qualify that, notice I moved from the qualify to the develop stage, and my lead now became an opportunity, and I've moved to the opportunities area in my left navigation. So leads and opportunities are separate records in Dynamics 365 sales. And, you know, as a sales organization, as I mentioned, sales organizations want to capture all of their sales leads, but all these leads may not be worth pursuing after that qualify stage. So you either qualify the lead or disqualify the lead. If you disqualify the lead gets closed, but that lead record is stored in the system. Or if you qualify the lead, you create a brand new opportunity record, and we'll continue working on this opportunity and hopefully close this sale. So let's go ahead and continue through this process through this guided sales process and develop the opportunity. There we go. So here we are back in our opportunity record. And as I develop this opportunity, it's important to capture some additional information, right? So the first thing I want to do, I actually want to capture a close date and maybe some estimated revenue. And those are a couple fields up here on the top of my opportunity. So to update these, all I have to do is click on this drop down. I can put in an estimated close date by clicking on the calendar icon here. And this close dates are important for forecasting and managing pipeline, right? We want to set a close date so that I can keep track of this opportunity and make sure that it's tracking in my system and I don't miss out on any important dates. So let's go ahead and click our calendar. I'm going to select December 31st. And that's all I'm going to update right now here. Notice I still don't have an estimated revenue in this opportunity, but what I'm going to do is add some products to this opportunity and have a price list automatically generate that estimated revenue for me. So I'm going to go ahead and close this drop down. Now I want to look at my develop stage to make sure that I view all the steps I need to complete in this particular stage. So if I open that up, notice this stage has four steps to complete. Let me go ahead and just in this demo, I eliminate some steps, right? I just do one click and it fills in everything automatically for you. So this is just some of the, in these click-through demos, you don't maybe want to show every single click. So I've consolidated some of those into a single click. So notice I've completed all the steps. I've added a customer need, a proposed solution. I've identified any additional stakeholders. I've identified any competitors if they exist. And now I've completed this stage. I want to move to the proposed stage. All I have to do is click next stage and boom, I move to the next stage in the guided process to propose. And again, within this stage, I have 4 steps that I need to complete. So let's go ahead and walk through this stage of proposing a solution to the customer. So to propose a solution to my customer, I want to add some product line items to this opportunity. And I could do that by selecting the product line items tab within my opportunity right here. I click on that and I bring up a new screen. The first thing I need to do is select a price list. I can click on that and I'm going to select the retail price list. If you remember back in our previous demo, we'd use the retail price list to sell to Microsoft on a previous opportunity. So I'm going to use that price list again. The next option I have is to change the revenue type. So this user provided revenue type is where a user would manually enter in estimated revenue. But I'm going to go ahead and change that by clicking on it. And I have something called system calculated revenue. So what that's going to do is when I add new products, those products will have a price from the price list and will automatically calculate the estimated revenue for me. So let's go ahead and add a product to this particular opportunity. Here I bring up my product screen, and I can search through my whole product catalog. So I briefly mentioned within Dynamics 365 Sales, you can set up a full product catalog of all the things that you sell, all the products and services that you sell. And this is something that as a partner out there that you would work with your customers on implementation and set up this product catalog. So let's go ahead and search my product catalog, and I'm going to search for on those Fabricam laptops because that's what Microsoft wants to purchase. So I see the Fabricam laptop 16, and that's the particular unit they want. So I go ahead and select that. I know that I notice automatically that I have a $1,250 price per unit. That price came from my retail price list for this laptop. I know that Microsoft is interested in purchasing 10 of those, so I changed the quantity from 1 to 10. So I've made the changes I need here. All I need to do is click Save and Close, and notice right here that this product is added to my opportunity. And notice that I see my per unit price here, I see the quantity, and then I see the extended amount. So if Microsoft purchases 10, it'll be $12,500. And notice automatically my estimated revenue was updated up here on the top of my opportunity screen. So I can go ahead and see that. So that system automatically calculated that for me. So now I've added my product and I know what the customer wants to purchase. I want to send them an official quote. So let's go ahead and do that. All I need to do is select quotes, and I can select new quote. And what happened there is that a new quote was automatically created for me. A quote number was identified. I could see the opportunity that this is related to. I can see that price list. And what I need to do is activate this quote, and it will put the quote in a read-only mode. So before I send it to the customer, I want to put it in a read-only mode so that no one can make changes to it. So it's an official quote. So I click on Activate. This activates the quote, and notice it says read-only up here. And what I could do is just confirm that the product is correct by going to quote lines. And here I see my Fabricam laptop. I see the quantity of 10 and that extended price. So when creating this quote, the product line items from the opportunity were automatically added to the quote, and it created a separate quote record for this. I can create multiple quotes within an opportunity if the customer wants to make changes on what they want to purchase. This looks good. So let me go ahead, and all I have to do in a couple clicks to send a PDF to a customer is say export to PDF. It brings up a dialog box. I can look at what's going to be sent to the customer here, click email, type a message, and then send the email within a couple clicks to the customer. I also have a couple of kind of key artificial intelligence, if you will, capabilities within Dynamics 365 Sales called email engagement. This is an important email I'm sending to the customer. Wouldn't it be nice if I could track if that customer opens the email or if they do not? So recipient activity will not be followed. I'm going to say I want this to be followed and click OK. So what this will do is I'll get a notification if and when that customer opens the email, and if they don't, I can set a reminder to follow up with them. So here I'm going to go ahead and set a reminder to follow up. If I do not receive a reply from the customer in a certain amount of time, I can set a reminder. So these are some additional capability in sales. If I'm working on a lot of opportunities, I don't want to miss a customer email, or I don't want to forget about following up with the customer. These email engagement activities and reminders can help me not forget about important things I'm working out with my customer. So I'm going to go ahead and click send. I'm going to close this dialog box, and my quote was sent off to the customer. The last couple steps here, let's go ahead and close this opportunity as a win. I'm back in my quote. So the customer has agreed to purchase 10 laptops. So I'm going to go ahead and create an order right within Dynamics 365 Sales. Now, Sales doesn't have kind of full order fulfillment. You can create order records in Dynamics 365 Sales, but there's no fulfillment. So if your customer has an ERP or other order fulfillment system, Dynamics 365 Sales can be integrated with standard APIs for that. But let's show you what it looks like within Sales. So we create an order. This order, because we're creating an order, it's going to set the opportunity as a win and close the opportunity automatically for us. So now we created an order record. We see all of the links to the quote and the opportunity right here within sales information. Once I fulfilled the order, I sent the laptops to the customer. I want to send them an invoice. I can do that right here in sales as well. I click create invoice and automatically creates an invoice record with an invoice number. Again, Dynamics 365 Sales doesn't have financial management capability. So this is where many customers will link to another financial management system like Business Central, for instance, can be really easily integrated to track the financials, but you can't store an invoice record in Dynamics 365 Sales. But notice here, there's linking between all of the records. I started this as a lead, it moved to an opportunity, and then I created a quote, an order, an invoice. So I've got my full end-to-end sales process, and I have linkages between all of the different records stored right here. So if I want to go to that original opportunity, I can just click right here and it opens up that opportunity. And notice in my timeline right here, this timeline tracks every activity that happened as a part of this opportunity. So I can see the opportunity was won. Oops, I'm sorry. I wanted to go back there. I can see the opportunity was won. I can see that it was completed. I can see the quote was closed and any emails. So this timeline is the ability to track everything that's happened with the customer. So that's kind of my end-to-end sales process that you see here. I'm just going to go back to my dashboard and let's wrap up this demo scenario. So we've walked through 5 steps, the end-to-end sales process, and you can see with the different stages and steps that we can drive a consistent end-to-end sales process that can lead to more consistency from a sales lead coming in all the way to a customer placing an order and invoicing. Hopefully this guided sales process allows us to close more deals by guiding that seller with next steps. And then we can also proactively monitor a customer's engagement with important emails so that we don't forget to follow up on important opportunity or lead. So I think my time is about wrapping up here. So we were able to only cover these 2 scenarios in the playbook, but there's much more for you to learn. So what I would like to encourage you all to do is to go out and download this sales playbook. And there's the AKA link right here. And again, you're going to get the full presentation with these click-through demos. There's videos in there so you can see a recording of each of the 8 demo scenarios with all the talking points and information. So it's a great way to learn more. And again, you can use this partner sales playbook to demo in front of your customers. Then I delivered back in January, we delivered a workshop around this sales playbook and even how to set up your own demo environment related to all 8 of those demo scenarios. So that workshop happened over 2 days, 4 hours each day. So you could go back to this on-demand recording to, again, learn more about the technical aspects of setting up everything we did in the demo and see the demos as well. So a couple follow-ups for you. And I think that's all I've got for today. Matthew, I'm going to pass it back to you. Are there any questions or anything else you'd like me to show?
Nothing from me, and I can see there's been some activity in the chat box, which is great. I can see Peter's been very, very quick at responding to that, which is amazing. What we can do is come to those at the end.
Okay.
What I'm thinking we could do now is take a sort of 5-minute break. So if everyone wants to take 5 minutes, we'll come back around 3 minutes after the hour, and yeah, we'll carry on with Kurt, and Pauline will be taking over from Cloud9 Insight. So have a good break. Go make yourself a cup of tea, coffee, and I'll see you back in 5. And thank you very much, Karen. Great session. Thank you. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you managed to make yourselves a coffee, a tea, or a beer, wherever you are in the world. You know, it might be beer o'clock, who knows. But no, I hope you're all back, you're refreshed. We'll be handing over to Cloud9 Insight, Kurt and Pauline to run a session. I will just say, just so you're all aware, as you're all starting to come back from the break now, that we are going to continue to run these workshops as we go into the new FY. In August, you'll see there's already a registration for a Power Apps workshop that we will be running. And then moving forward, we've got more plans to do a bigger Dynamics 365 sales workshop with Microsoft's new sales plays for the new FY, and more around Business Central and Power Apps as well in the new FY, just so you're all aware. And they'll all be going on that landing page. Anyway, enough from me. Mr. Kurt, over to you.
Thanks very much, Matt. Thanks for all coming back from your break. I hope you have all come back. So I'm just going to share my screen and just take you through a few slides today. So my session's about 15 minutes or so. So I'm going to try and keep it fairly focused, but really just try and align with some of the great stuff that Karen was saying, and also some of the great stuff that Matt was saying at the top of the program. So just firstly wanted to give a quick overview of who Cloud9 are. So we are a exclusive Microsoft Dynamics 365 partner. We've implemented around 800 Dynamics solutions for clients in all different walks of life, all different shapes and sizes. Now, the reason why the exclusive part is important is because we're very successful working with partners, as Dynamics is the only thing that we do. So there's never any conflict of interest around Modern Workplace, Office 365, Azure. You know, these things are absolutely your speciality. Our aim is that we can be an extension of your team to provide Dynamics and Dynamics solutions to clients, to your clients. We are completely transparent in terms of how we work. We often get asked the question, how much does a Dynamics project cost? Or I'm scared of how much CRM could actually cost me. So over the last few years, we've developed a very simple and interactive budgeting guide, which is essentially a transparent view of all of the costs. Things like licenses, things like support, things like implementation. And we find that that resonates so well with clients, so they can actually have a true picture of what's to come before they spend any money, before they signed on the dotted line, as it were. So some partners even get to a stage where they can use that tool themselves to help clients with budgeting and so on. So we're really, really passionate about making it as simple and understandable as possible. We're all an employed team, so there's around 45 of us based down in Brighton in the UK, and everything that we do is all based out of that team. So there's never any worries about offshore or nearshore, as it were. So everything is delivered by the Cloud9 team. The biggest ethos that we put forward is around training and knowledge transfer. And the main reason being is that as you guys are all software people, you're all technology people, you know that the biggest challenge to any of these projects is making the change or harnessing that change. So we actually have a sideline business as well, which is just purely focused on training. And it's a huge passion of ours to make sure that clients are fully up to speed with how they can use this new technology to benefit their business. So that's probably the most important part that we put on any of these projects. And that's delivered both in upfront project training, ongoing live training, and also part of our client success care package. So this is often provided sometimes as a back-to-back in terms of how you support your customers, but really providing those ongoing services around small configuration changes, break fix support, of course, but also unlimited ad hoc training. So your clients can call on us at any time to say, hey guys, how do I do this? So there's that extra element of training support behind the scenes. So that's enough about us. That's who we are and how we work. But really the focus of today is that I know probably some of you are already transacting Dynamics, and some of you perhaps this is completely new. So I wanted to try and play a bit more on some of the key points that Matt raised at the beginning. Why Dynamics for your clients? So firstly, Dynamics is part of the Microsoft Secure Cloud. So if your clients are using Office, Modern Workplace, Azure, Dynamics is part of that family already. So Karen made some great overview presentations of how it links with Outlook. There's other things like linking with Teams and other parts, but also with what sits behind it is that secure cloud that everybody knows and everybody trusts in terms of the Microsoft ecosphere. Real-time reporting. This is probably the biggest request and the biggest advantage of having a good CRM solution. So Matt spoke about spreadsheets, holding data. A lot of businesses are using spreadsheets to manage their data. But where this really falls down is actually having real live reporting, live dashboards, a live view of what you need to do next, and really giving business owners back control. If there's one thing we can put forward to clients as to what you'll get from a good CRM solution, it's to gain control and understanding of what's happening within your business. And that could be, as we've spoken about a lot in terms of sales today, but it could also be other parts of your business as well, supported by other modules. Dynamics, on the point about other modules, we've focused absolutely on sales today, but there's also a raft of other modules as part of the Dynamics suite. So the great part is that it is a building block solution. You start with one, you then build into other modules as you go, but that can create a full lead all the way through to cash. I saw one of the questions was around VAT and other things like that. So there's other modules in the Dynamics world where you can start to manage your finances, for example, manage customer service and so on. And a bit further around the deep office integration. So we mentioned it's part of the secure cloud, the same login details as your Active Directory, all of that fantastic stuff. But also day to day, Karen was showing you some awesome stuff on the Outlook integration. Teams is now becoming a day-to-day tool for most business users. So integration with Teams, integration with SharePoint, but also the wider Microsoft's ecosystem as well. You'll have heard lots of things about Power Apps. You'll have heard lots about Power Automate or Flow, as it were. And all of these tools now interlink. So there's great benefit of using Dynamics alongside all of the tools that you already use. And what's in it for you as a partner? So, that's why people or why your clients might like Dynamics, but what's actually in it for you in terms of partnership? So we often find that partners who can offer or have that conversation about Dynamics to their clients means that they're extending their offering, they're extending their services. So we're in a hugely competitive world now of software. There's hundreds of different vendors, there's thousands and thousands of different partners, and all are claiming that they can do lots of different things. So sometimes there's that competitive edge of, well, this partner's offering me this and they're also offering me that. Chances are they're probably not doing that directly, but actually they might be working with a partner who can. So it's more about having that, do you do this conversation? Well, yes, we can, and it's through our trusted partners. It may certainly help in terms of making clients more sticky and also winning new prospect deals as well. New revenue stream. I mean, it's not all about money, but as Matt alluded to, there's certainly some fantastic margins to be made in terms of Dynamics. A typical margin, that $8 to $10 worth of margin on a license is hugely more than the Office 365 piece. We've also got a kickback stream around the services as well. So typically projects can be 10 days, they could be 100, 200 days, depending on a different size of client. And there's, a good 10%, 10, 20% to be made on that margin for you guys, which is profit straight into your bottom line. Free pre-sales. So this is something we pride ourselves on for all partners. We're here to support you. We are part of your extended team in terms of offering Dynamics and having the conversation about, is Dynamics the right thing for your client? So we provide that full support throughout the whole pre-sales engagement, helping with intro calls all the way through presentations, quoting, etc. And we can also provide partner training as well. So things to think about while you're looking for opportunities, questions to ask, ways to identify these potential inquiries as well. So we can support you with recorded content to put on internal wikis and live training as well. Retain the licenses. So we know that's hugely important for a lot of modern workplace partners. We're happy for you guys to transact all of the licenses. So again, keeping that margin, keeping that recognition with Microsoft, but also for the client, ensuring that they've just got one single bill. So there's no complaints from that in terms of managing different direct debits and so on and so forth. Increase wallet share. I've mentioned a few Microsoft pieces so far: Power Apps, Azure, Workplace, etc. Dynamics is proven to increase the use of all of these different tools, things like Azure for consumption, things like Power Apps for day-to-day, things like Teams for collaboration. I'll tell you a bit more about that when we do some success stories. And finally, Dynamics doesn't have to be complex. Of course, there will be projects out there that have lots of different requirements and integration points and other things like that. But also, Dynamics is a fantastic solution for your starting point with CRM. And aligned to that, we have some really simple starter packs for both sales and the service side of Dynamics, which clients can pay for upfront. They get fixed outcomes, and it's all at a very low budget as well. So it's a very simple way for making that start, either for yourselves or for your clients, into the Dynamics world. I just wanted to talk through a couple of success stories. It's well and good me talking about how good we are and how much Dynamics will do to help you, but there's a couple of success stories I wanted to share with you. So these are typical client challenges. This is a particular client we're going to talk about, but it happens an awful lot. Why do people want Dynamics? We talk about that control. So no single view of their customers. We hear that all the time. My customers' data is on spreadsheets. It's on various different things. And also my remote sales team, once we get out of COVID, they're back to being on the road, but they're using remote desktops, virtual desktops, etc. So this is causing some challenges. So the proposed solution that we put forward was Dynamics for Sales, exactly in line with what you saw today. But also there was an upgrade of on-premise Office to Office 365. And I put in brackets, which was really important, is that was delivered by the partner. Again, that's nothing for Cloud9, but that's a new project that we unearthed working alongside that partner. So we achieved some recurring revenue for both Dynamics and Office 365. There was a project for both of us as partners, and the customer, as you'll see, was absolutely ecstatic in terms of very happy, successful project, and delivered exactly what we asked for. So there's success story one. It doesn't always have to be around Office. So we often partner with organizations who do other parts of the Microsoft ecosystem. Another challenge we saw was with quite a reputable company, which we'll come to. They have a very large-scale ERP solution, but all of their leads and their sales and pipeline was all managed on spreadsheets. Again, you see there's a very common theme here, and I know Matt alluded to it as well. So what did we put forward? Dynamics for Sales, as you guys have seen today, but also a Power App, which we called an order pad, to make ordering easy. So again, it's not just Dynamics that we're putting forward. There's some potential around Power Apps, which then leads to Azure consumption and so on and so forth. So there's lots of kind of entwined solutions here, which we can offer together as partners. Achieved, again, increasing recurring revenue across those three different pillars. Eliminate also the need to explore other solutions. So at the very beginning, they're actually looking to move away from the partner that we worked with, because that particular solution they premiered in, if you like, it didn't meet their needs. So another happy client. And as you see, there's another reference there. So just some kind of trying to get the brains moving, if you like, trying to think of if there's any of those particular customers out there that we might be able to work on together. We'd be absolutely delighted. And then finally, what is good about where we are set up? We are part of, and the reason you're on this webinar today is we're all part of this fantastic ecosystem which Matt and his team have created in terms of the Ingram microcloud world, if you like, or network. So we're already working together, we're already part of that ecosystem, so we don't have to worry too much about contracts. Of course, NDAs and so on, part and parcel, but that's all there. We've got rates agreed, everything from RRPs to margin rates, everything is all sorted, and everything's on the marketplace. So I'm sure many of you work with that marketplace day to day. You can go on there, you can have a search for Cloud9, or this is exactly the same working with Peter, who I'm just going to pass over to now, in terms of working in the States. We premiere in the EMEA region. Yeah, we're absolutely ready to go. So at the end of this call, give us a search, try and find some of our SKUs, and we'd be absolutely delighted to support you in terms of speaking to clients, understanding more about Microsoft Dynamics. So thanks a lot for listening, and yeah, we can grab some questions at the end.
Awesome, thanks a lot, Kurt. And we'll go a smooth transition over to Mr. Wolf. Here he is. I'll go on mute. I'll hack myself over to you.
Hey Matt, how do you like my new haircut? My wife's been doing the COVID cutting. She used the clippers, got it down to like a military look.
It's looking sharp. I do have to warn people as well, whenever they go and watch the on-demand workshops, the excuse for my hair in the Power Platform workshop is that barbers have been closed for about 8 months at this point. So my hair was really long. I looked like I was trying to revisit my youth haircut or something. But yeah,
look at Scott. Hey, Scott, have you gotten your haircut since this whole COVID thing started?
Yeah, I'm getting a little bit of support from my wife on it. She says it kind of looks like a bad toupee right now, though. So I think it's about time to go to a professional and get this thing cleaned up.
Awesome. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's jump into this. I'm gonna really focus on. I do have a few slides. I don't want to bore everyone's slides, but real quickly, if you can see my screen, we are just like Cloud9. Our model is P2P. Our goal is to help you bring Dynamics to your customers. If you want to spin up a Dynamics practice, that is freaking awesome, because there's so much business out there for all of us. Microsoft is just killing it with this product. I've been selling CRM for 20 years. I literally have never seen something as beautiful that brings a tear to my eye, literally, as Dynamics. Microsoft, and the things that Karen said about how they keep improving things and they're talking to customers, they're creating automations. I see that happening. It's not just vendor speak. It's really happening. Every time I go out to a new customer, they're like amazed at how simple Dynamics has made their lives. So definitely that's kind of a real passion, and I think there's a lot of opportunity. But a lot of partners don't have the bandwidth to spin up a practice, and I get that. But that doesn't mean you should let those needs go unaddressed. That's where the partner-to-partner program through Ingram Cloud comes in. And they work with partners like us, like Cloud9, a few other partners. Our goal is to make this easy for you to bring Dynamics to your customers. And it's already been said a couple times, but here are the three things that when I talk about Dynamics 365, I'm talking about CRM specifically, the sales, the marketing, services. Here's the three things that I find resonate with my SMB customers right now. The first is you can work in the tools that you want to work in. It's very common that CRM fails. So what that means is 40 to 70% of CRM projects go nowhere. The customer tries to go forward with CRM, and within 12, 18 months, it's nothing more than a glorified Rolodex. The salespeople aren't using it. They're pulling it out. Well, Dynamics, one of the most beautiful things about it is it's the tight integration, the better together message. So as a salesperson, you could sit inside of Outlook. In fact, I'm going to show that here in a minute because I am a dumb salesperson. My team always yells at me because I'm like one of the worst CRM users, even though I sell it. And I say that's not a bug, it's a feature. So because I use it every day, I know what my customers want. And what customers want is they want to make life easy for themselves. So by letting them sit inside of Outlook or sit inside of Teams, that's a beautiful thing. The second thing is see the data when you need to see it. So what that means is we're all drowning in information today. There's so much information out there. You can go to LinkedIn and see amazing profiles. You can download one of these databases that gives you insights into your customers. The issue is not the lack of data, it's the lack of knowledge and insightful data. And so what Microsoft will do, Dynamics will do, is you can set up tags. So if a record is a customer, maybe you see these 10 fields. If it's a prospect, you see different fields. And if it's a partner, you can see other fields. And I'll show you that real quickly as well. But it can't be underestimated. That is a huge thing because it makes the salespeople's lives easier. And then the third thing that I saw a poll recently of SMBs, and I do focus on SMBs. We have some customers with hundreds and hundreds of seats, but most of our deals are 5 to 30 seats of CRM. So these are small companies. A lot of partners will say, oh, these customers are too small for CRM, but that's not true. The truth is a survey that I just saw about from small businesses said the number one thing that they need to do is streamline operations. A lot of people think about CRM as just pure sales. The truth is, though, You can set up process controls and automations, and Karen alluded to that and showed you some of that stuff, so I won't show it to you, but that's where the magic is. Because when you can automate key processes, what it does is two things. One is it helps you do more with the same amount of people. So you can have bigger reach, farther reach. You can serve more customers and prospects and partners. The other thing is, though, it makes sure that no one drops the ball. There's a presentation I do called Addressing the New Customer Experience Economy. And it is 100% true that modern buyers, whether they're existing customers you've worked with for years or decades, and modern prospects, they demand your A+ game every time. So you need to deliver consistent, high quality experiences. And if you're not, you can bet your bottom dollar they're going to go to Google or Bing and find your competitors within a few keystrokes. And so I think that this is one of the things that CRM addresses really well. It's not just for sales. So we use Dynamics internally, and the way we use it is I do my prospecting, I do my lead gen, I do my sales. When a sale is made, it converts it into a project inside of our CRM. So we built a little project, a simplified project management. I know Cloud9 has one as well, but then it goes to the project for my consulting team to fulfill. And then ticketing, case management all goes through the system. So like it can be more than just a sales tool. So it's important to note that if you have customers that are struggling or have a need to get more organized, CRM is a great fit for that. And also, just to put a pitch in for Matt's upcoming session, some people could do this without CRM. So like if it's purely streamlining operations, nothing on the sales side, you can just use the Power Platform. And so definitely, Matt, maybe you might want to put that in the link to the upcoming session, but I definitely recommend people check out the Power Platform as well. I've got another slide here. I'm not going to go into all these things, but these are some of the things that resonate with my SMB prospects and customers, like things that they can do. Most of the things that the SMB market wants to do is very practical minded. I see a lot of rookies to selling Dynamics focus on the things like dashboards and management. What our reality is how do we get adoption of CRM? And the reality of adoption of CRM, it starts with the users. So make their life simple, allow them to do what they want, help them control their outcomes, lower their frustration. That's where you get adoption of CRM, and you actually get salespeople clamoring to use it versus dragging their heels. And I don't know if any of you have sold CRM in the past or used CRM, but it's very common that the salespeople hate it, and they fake their work. And so the tool becomes really just a boat anchor, a waste of time and money. And our goal is always, Dynamics is an amazing tool. Let's use it to solve those problems. So like Kurt, I kind of talk fast, but let me just show you an example inside of Outlook, because I think this kind of brings it all together with that better together message. So in here, this is an email from someone. And what the Dynamics panel does is this gives me access to Dynamics, but I can sit inside of Outlook. And I am literally going to tell you, as a dumb sales guy, I sit inside of Outlook all day long. Like I'm in Outlook 95% of my day, connecting with prospects and customers. This is how your customers work. This is probably how a lot of you work too. So you probably get it. And so, but I can still access Dynamics. So like Ashley here is not in my system. So what I can do is just quickly add her as a contact. So I'm going to pull up her company. It's going to auto fill in some information. It's kind of smart. It'll pull information from the email. I don't know how it does it. I'm not as technical as I used to be. I used to know this stuff, but like right now it's just magic to me, and that's how it should be. Just make it work. Don't bog me down with details. So it takes me, a minute here. Not even with my rambling, this is going pretty fast. But as soon as I have this done, I can save and close, and you can change these forms. So you can make this quick form as simple as you want. And Karen mentioned this. One of the things that we've been playing with for our customers is when you add a new contact, is just show some what we call easy buttons at the bottom here, like send product catalog, yes, no. Do follow up in 7 days, yes, no. So like you can have like automations that trigger immediately once you create a contact. Salespeople love that stuff, because that's one less thing for them to remember. They don't have to go to their Outlook and schedule a follow-up. They can just have it done. They don't need to remember to send the the product catalog out. The system just does it for them. I save and close this, and now once I've saved that, you can see now Ashley shows up as a record. And now she's linked. And not only is she linked, but this email was tracked. So any future emails on this thread would be tracked to her record. And if I want to, if on this email or any future email, I can just do view in Dynamics. And again, this is literally what I do. I can pull up her record. I can see, you know, any opportunities that she's working on, any support tickets that she's logged in. Like I literally can see everything that's going on in the world with Ashley. So if she sent me an email, what I do is I pull up the email, see what's going on, see if she's got any grievances with my team. Like maybe she's a customer and she sent me an email saying we need to talk. Well, before I call her, I want to know what's going on and just get my, you know, my bearings before I respond to her. I could also jump over to her customer record. In this case, they're a partner, and I can see, you know, referrals that they've sent us. I can see, you know, just different information. This screen is completely flexible. I did mention, and I want to show you at this point, like you can have different fields show up for different contexts. So this is a partner, so I see the partner details. If this was a customer, that changes. And these are things that do not take hours and hours to do. This takes like a couple minutes to set this up. And that's the power of Dynamics, is Microsoft has built this tool that can morph to the needs of your customers. Everything can be contextual and dynamic, no pun intended there. It's like even the menus, like this is a partner, so I see referrals. If it was a customer, maybe the referrals tab goes away. We actually get referrals from our customers too, so we would leave it. But the example is solid that you can show things and hide things based on the context. So I think that was one of the things I wanted to show. Now, the other thing I wanted to show was inside Teams itself. So if I go to Teams, let me just hide those teams. I've got, so in my company, the sales people work inside Outlook for the most part. But then when a project gets made, we create an internal team. And if you're all using Teams, you're probably doing something similar. We create an internal team for that customer. And so inside of Teams, we can have those free-form ad hoc conversations about customers, their needs, things that we're recommending. Like we have this thing called easy buttons we're recommending to people. And then I can also, inside of Teams, pull up their Dynamics record. So it works the same way. So my people, my consultants, my fulfillment, my tech engineers, they live inside of Teams, but they get the same kind of experience that we do in Outlook. I mean, honestly, the question becomes, who the heck ever goes into Dynamics? Well, the truth is, I go into Dynamics, like I said, probably about 5% of my day, just to get level setting, to look at dashboards, to see context about what's going on with other people in my team. When I'm doing my own work, I'm inside of Outlook for the most part. When I'm looking at how we're doing as a whole, I go inside of Teams, or I'm sorry, inside of Dynamics. And when it comes to Dynamics, Karen did a great job, so I'm not going to go into too much depth here, but one thing I did want to show you is how flexible it is. And this is another thing that really excites small businesses and frankly, medium and large businesses as well. But the idea of automations. So again, I'm going to make another pitch for Matt's upcoming Power Platform session, but this is another area that Microsoft is just killing it with Power Platform. So the Power Automate, the Power Flow allows you to automate and simplify and streamline certain things. And we've been talking to our customers about this for years, but they just weren't getting it. So what we've done is we've created like a little panel here of quick buttons. We call them easy buttons. And it's what's really cool about this is it gives customers an understanding of how things can actually be automated to streamline their experiences. So this, like each of these things, like adding an opportunity, is probably like 3 or 4 clicks. This quick opportunity turns into a single click. So it's not like it's saving hours of time, but in any customer, what you're going to find is salespeople do things, or worse, they forget to do things because they're a distraction, that take like just maybe 20 seconds, but they do those things 10 times a day. You know, that's 70 times a week, or 50 times a week if it's a work week. So if you can save them even 10 seconds per time, it starts to add up very quickly across large sales teams. And some of these things can be even bigger. So there's this example, and we just did a demo yesterday of a quick opportunity. That's okay. It just pops up this opportunity tab. But now imagine a customer that has different types of sales, selling a new network installation versus doing an audit, a network audit. Because let's say a customer calls you and wants to see if you can take over their IT services. Well, you could have different opportunities that when you click those buttons, the button could be quick audit or quick IT infrastructure installation. I don't know. I'm making up terms here. But the key is that you could push a button, and not only does it pop up the screen, but maybe certain automations trigger automatically because you push that button instead of the other button. And again, the whole goal is to streamline those processes, make sure no one misses a trick, make sure that things get done that are going to ensure your chance of a successful relationship, a successful engagement with that prospect or customer. And to me, this is the power of Dynamics, and this is why Dynamics is exploding right now. There is a need. One of the things I want to address is just real quickly, Matt, and I know you see this too, is I talk to partners all the time. On that slide I showed you, 95% of my business is partner to partner. I will hear from partners routinely, my customers aren't looking at this stuff. The truth is, your customers are. You just may not know about it. And going back to Matt's earlier points, I think it was Forrester, maybe it was Gartner, that did a research recently that showed like 30 to 40% of SMBs are still using Excel and Outlook to manage their sales, and they're quickly finding out that that's not maintainable anymore. It's not. They can't survive doing that because they're getting eaten alive by slow response rates, inconsistent response rates, disorganized responses. So CRM is the answer to that problem. And so there are opportunities in your base. Your customers may not know that you're the type of, you're the firm to talk about that. So one of the other services that we offer to all the Ingram partners is free marketing services. So if you ever want to just explore your base, we've got things as simple as a CRM readiness survey that you can shoot out to your customers and just assess and see where they stand on CRM. Are they interested? Are they a good fit? It's quick and easy to set up. All leads go back to you. So if you want to bring in, the Ingram team or my team or Kurt's team or just do it yourself, that's fine. But the goal is, I think, for all of us is there's a lot of opportunity out there, and we need to start spreading the message more and faster because Salesforce is out there selling these customers. And right now it's a greenfield. And I've been in business for 30 years, and there's only so many times in your life where there's a greenfield of opportunity. And by greenfield, what I mean is they aren't invested. They don't have another solution already that's locking them in. So it's going to be easier to get in there with these awesome tools from Microsoft than it's going to be to supplant another tool. Because even if those other tools are failing and they're nothing more than glorified Rolodexes, lock-in is a real thing. People have sunk cost fallacy. I've invested X amount in this other tool. We're just going to ride it out until we're all in the grave. So I see that a lot. So just food for thought, and that's it really, Matt, for me. Hopefully this gives a good overview of kind of the better together message, but also the streamlining operations message. But I'm open to follow-ups, and if someone wants to connect with me, the best way to connect with me is LinkedIn. I'm on there all the time, so feel free to link to me. And if you have personal questions that you don't want to ask here, seen it all, done it all. Would love to have the opportunity to help you grow your Dynamics practice. That's it.
Thank you very much. Awesome. So if anyone's got any questions that they want to ask following on from Karen's session, Kurt's session, or Peter's session, feel free to drop those into the chat. That'd be much appreciated. I think one thing I'll just start with, actually, I think I'm going to go back to the talking point that I had during my session around the Biz Apps consultancy hours. And Scott, I know you've had some success stories. I don't know if you want to talk around those, just how useful they can be.
Yeah, absolutely. So we get a lot of partners that are kind of just tinkering a little bit with Dynamics. Maybe they know our team is here, but they haven't engaged with us yet. And they want to kind of wrap their head around what these applications can do and how to configure them. Or we've got other partners that already have a Dynamics practice, maybe on the sales CRM side, but we're looking to explore project operations. So I get a lot of these questions, and I'm not a technical resource. I do my best when I can, but I would spend all day doing research for a 15-minute discussion. So there is a fantastic benefit that's available to all of our partners through Ingram Micro, but it's something that almost every Microsoft partner should have access to on their own as well. And these are those advisory hours. These advisory hours are setting you up with a technical resource at Microsoft to go through a particular scenario. Oftentimes people will use it for pre-sales if it's directed at a particular opportunity, but you can also use it just to get an overview and learn the basics of setup, configuration, and those things. So I did drop it into the chat before, kind of the quick link with Microsoft's aka.ms formatting is TTW, but that will take you to that pre-sales advisory hours where you can submit a request. But for our partners, if you don't have any more advisory hours, if you ran out of them, we're your indirect provider. We can leverage those too. So please ask us, let us know. I like partners to use what they have access to first before coming to our bucket, but don't hesitate. Please bring it up. We've had folks that have kind of spent quite a bit of time spinning their wheels and trying to figure things out. And within 2 days, we've lined up a consultation. And a few days after that, they've got a whole book of resources and they've got a good way to go forward from the experts. They're not just cobbling it together on their own or reaching out to forums.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Scott.
Yeah, no problem.
So I can't see any questions coming in, but I don't know if guys, you know, obviously great sessions, and I know we kept it very tight. So I don't know anything else you want to kind of expand on from your sessions. That'd be great, because I know there was some great content as part of those.
Yeah, I will tell you a couple other things, Matt, that I'm seeing out there is there's a lot of customers right now that are on Microsoft CRM. So that's the pre-Dynamics on-premise system. And so, and I'm sure Kurt does the same thing, but we have a fixed fee, money back guarantee approach to migrate them from on-prem to the cloud. So we do a quick review analysis, and then we'll give them a fixed fee to do it. And like, I don't know if any of you out there are seeing that, but that's a real thing. There's a lot of benefits to the cloud. We had a customer who we were talking to the CFO who's a real penny pincher. And I love that because I throw nickels around like manhole covers myself. I'm very cheap. So I appreciate frugal customers. But he came on us hot and heavy and said, oh, there's no way the cloud is going to be cheaper than my on-prem. But he ran his own numbers, the CFO, with the server cost, how much they spent to upgrade, the downtime that they had over the last 4 years with their server, and how much that cost them in business because they were down for 2 days while they had to replace a hard drive. And we found out that the cloud was actually cheaper for them, and it opened their doors to so many things. A lot of people think cloud is going to be more expensive because there's that common adage that you're renting versus owning, but it's not true. And the other benefit about the cloud is, just speaking from experiences, it's like going to your sink and getting a glass of water. And I know that analogy has been beaten to death, and a lot of the MSPs on this call probably know it better than I do, but it's true. So there was a period where my Dynamics was down, and in the old days, I would be sweating buckets, like literally going, oh my God, my business is down. I need to respond to this quickly. And I'd scramble all my team and pull them off of client projects to solve these problems. But I just took a deep breath and said, Microsoft has 1 billion engineers working on this problem right now. And for a mission critical business application, having the support of Microsoft engineers, making sure that it's up all the time it's relief. And so what we do with those people that are nervous about that, and you probably run into those, is just, and I'm talking about the people that already have on-prem CRM, is just, assure them that Microsoft's going to move faster to fix those problems than you can scramble, and it's going to cost you a lot less money because it's already part of the fees. Microsoft's taking care of it for you, and that is just another reason to move to the cloud. That's kind of a side note there, Matt, but it does come up more and more. Another thing, sorry, I'm just going to keep rambling here, Matt. That's how I am. But the other thing that we're seeing a lot of is, and this is one of my favorite things in the world, it's a thing of beauty, is people say, we have Salesforce and we hate it. What's Dynamics going to do for me? Microsoft Dynamics shows so favorably compared to Salesforce. because of those integrations with Outlook and Teams, that's where your customers want to be. Salesforce is in this, for a while there, they had everything, but they're off in their own little universe now. Microsoft Dynamics is in the thick of your customers' businesses with Outlook, Excel, Word, SharePoint, Teams integration. That's what SMBs want, simplicity. It's a powerful message, and we love doing migrations from Salesforce. We just did 2 already this year, Matt, and I'm hoping we're gonna see that pick up.
Yeah, definitely. And I think one thing we get asked a lot from partners as well around Dynamics, and there's a lot of content out there. It's kind of the how do I get started. So just because I know we kind of touched on the Accelerate program before, and I didn't go into loads of detail, and you might be sat there thinking, sounds good. How much is this going to cost? How much time investment am I going to have to put into this? The true answer is absolutely nothing. We've built a really strong program around Dynamics and how we're enabling you to work with partners like Peter and Kirk, Cloud9 and Azomba, but also help you be proactive in your approach. So, delivering things like sales training, the pre-sales collateral, marketing, all white labeled that we've created, all in that Teams channel that you can use. Social media campaigns or email campaigns, all available. Better Together campaigns, we're harnessing that from Microsoft as well. The M365 and Dynamics 365 Better Together story as a marketing campaign. So touching on those points that Peter highlighted during his session, all available. So we're not only enabling you to react to customers saying, I'm interested in Dynamics, what's this? And enabling you to work with us and work with our partners. We're helping you turn this into a proactive business model with no risk, no investment, and very little time investment as well, in the sense of, we're not asking you to go and create marketing campaigns. We're not even asking you to go and look up all the training and everything that's available to get your sales team ready. We will do that for you, and we will provide you with that kind of training. So I think I just really wanted to highlight that because I kind of rushed through the Accelerate program before. So I just thought really expand on that point.
So I've got a question actually for Kurt. So Peter and I get to work on opportunities here in the US. So I'm very familiar with his style and approach with things. But Kurt, when you guys are talking to an SMB customer, I'm just curious how you position these things in a way where they can kind of take those bite-sized pieces, because often there's so much potential that I see with these applications. It's easy to get overwhelmed. And for me, I have to actively try not to overwhelm either our partner or their customer when we're talking through these things. So I'd be curious just to see how you approach that, especially for those smaller customers. 1 to 50 is great, but what happens on that smaller end?
Yeah, of course. That's a really great question. So I think, like I said in the presentation, Dynamics, even just the sales part, has lots and lots of different functions and benefits which people could utilize. Just to talk through that, if we've got a little bit of time, I'm just going to pull up a real quick slide in terms of how we work with customers, because I think it will just add a bit of value to what we said. So forgive me, this is you've thrown this on me, Scott, but this is directly from our own sales information and collateral. So this image over on the left hand side we call it our maturity roadmap. So this is a 5-step process which we help our clients go through. And what we do is we take each of these steps and we understand from their business where that would align. And we essentially build out a roadmap which we support them on. And that roadmap is normally in a number of different phases. So perhaps the first stage is something called a single view. So this is, when I was talking about control, this is often the one thing that if you don't have a good CRM or you don't have a CRM at all, this is probably something that a business really needs. So to actually be able to have one single place where they can go, whether they access it in Outlook, access it in Teams, access it in their browser, but they can see who that client is, who's communicating with them, who's interacting with them, and what we need to do next, and all of their history. So that's the first part, is that single view of data. And Pete made a great point about we're just overwhelmed with data at the moment, which is correct. So what do we actually do with that data is step 2. So you might use your data for marketing purposes. You might profile your customers in a particular way, what they're interested in, where they're located, what industry they're in. So we can use that for marketing purposes. We can also use it for data insights. So for our own business, who are our customers? What products are selling well? What are the trends that we're seeing? So those first two steps is around getting the data in one place and then using that data to know more about our customers. The third one is around really making getting your house in order. I often like the analogy about CRM that it's like building a house, because it absolutely is. It's a journey. So when you build a house, you put in the foundations, which is your single view. You then start to understand more about that house in terms of how you might want it laid out. And this next part is about getting your house in order. So thinking about automations, if you've got documents you want to create in terms of templates, if you want to do internal alerts, all of those kind of things. So that's step 3 in terms of automating and streamlining processes, which I got asked this on a client call yesterday. They said, well, how good is Dynamics actually? Is it something that can give me time? And I kind of laugh because that's what we all need, especially at the moment. Everybody's working really hard. You want more time. But Dynamics can't give you time. It won't add more hours to the day, but it will give you time back by automating some processes that you're probably doing many, many times in the day. Step 4 is around integration. So this is about connecting to other data systems. So it might be that you then start to explore another module of Dynamics like service. But Dynamics doesn't always have to be the one stop. It could be that you integrate with other tools like Sage or other finance systems, big ERP, or even specialists. So this is about increasing collaboration across the business. And then back to my house analogy, step 5 is inviting your friends round. So once you feel that you've got your house in order, you've got your TV, you've got your carpet how you want it, you've got all of that in place, it's now time to invite your friends round. And that's what a self-service portal is. So this is another of the Dynamics modules, again, part of the Power Apps piece, where you can actually open up securely parts of your Dynamics data set for people to self-serve. Could be that they update their details, that they create new orders, that they ask for help. So that's the journey that we take our clients on, and often we break that out for them into a number of different phases of the project.
That's fantastic. And to me, that really highlights the difference between what the experience of kind of figuring this out for the first time is going to be versus working with a really well-established partner and somebody who understands not just the solution and the need for it, but also that framework for how to go from 0 to 1 and then to move beyond that. Peter, I know that you have a very similar program. A lot of the terminology is different, but the basis is still there. And I think being able to show folks that comfortable approach of how we're going to go from where you are today to that final product is a really good thing to introduce early in a sales cycle, which isn't something that we can do here as your disty, because we're not going to actually do that implementation work. And it's why having these elite service providers as part of our program was essential to make sure the rest of our partners are successful too. So I appreciate that walkthrough, and I'm glad you pulled up that slide. That was good to see. When it comes to the metaphor, though, of building the house, I've used the same thing to describe this P2P program, where you might have your general contractor that's in charge of some things, but they're going to pull in a specialist to do the electricity, or pull in a plumber to do another section. So even though you might have a general contractor that still manages a customer, you can have these other specialists come in and do that work without it being an adversarial relationship. So those metaphors might get a little bit muddled if we were talking at the same time about them, but I do like the house building.
And Scott, go
ahead, Peter.
Oh, I was just going to say, to add to that thought is, I think it's important to stress that there is a ton of opportunity out there with Dynamics. And so, like, if a partner has the bandwidth and is willing to make the investment, I totally encourage them to do so. The reality is, though, like, a lot of partners are smaller businesses, and there's so much opportunity in other Microsoft areas, like with Azure and Office and all these other core services, that what they can do is use the P2P program through Ingram to scratch that itch for their customer, make some money, make happy customers, and then over time, if they have the bandwidth, if they want to make that full investment, then they can spin up their own practice too. But like for me, I encourage partners to build a practice, but I know it's not very practical, and it is somewhat of a distraction because it's not in their wheelhouse. It is a different sales messaging. You talk to different buyers. It's completely different. So I think it's good that Ingram supports both models.
Yeah, and this is Karen. That I think the message around this is fantastic, that because it can be a little bit overwhelming, right, to digest all of the stuff and take everything on yourself. So working the P2P model and using what Ingram has is great. One point I wanted to make just on kind of the building of the house and the foundation, if you kind of go back to that playbook that I showed, some of those essential sales experiences, those first 4 demos that's the basics, right? You don't have to almost do anything to enable those. And then as you move into the advanced ones, that's adding some of that additional capability, analytics, other capability that Kurt was talking about. So if you kind of relate it back to that, you could look at some of those scenarios. Okay, these are the basics of where someone starts, getting that single view of the customer. And as I kind of move through those, I add capability and things like that. So I just wanted to mention that as well.
That's great. And it gives partners the opportunity to kind of make it their own too. So you're
Right.
saying that they can really walk through some of those demo scenarios and really treat that as their kind of walk, crawl, run approach, or their, foundation, and then framing it, and then on from there. So I like the fact that you guys are putting out those playbooks with that in mind. I'll also drop into the chat. There are some more sales playbooks out there around the Dynamics applications. I was super excited to see the customer service one come out, and I'm sure there'll be more in the future. But I'll post those quick links in the chat here too.
Yeah, and I'll just want to highlight something as well that's really useful, because you might be listening to all of this and it might be your first exposure to Dynamics, it might not be, and you might be thinking about which customers are a good fit and how have we seen success previously. Again, Microsoft serving as something great. There's some great case studies that Peter and Kurt, I'm sure, can share, and Kurt did during his session. But Microsoft have got a good customer stories page where you can filter down by the product, you can filter down by the organization size. So I've selected 1 to 49. You could remove that, and there's a lot in there. And you can have a look at it by industry as well. So if you're not familiar with this website, it's definitely worth checking out. And really looking at what these good success stories look like. I think one common theme that I see is these success stories. It's never just one product, and by that what I mean is if it's Dynamics 365, there's definitely going to be a talk of Teams in there, or even Power Apps or Power BI or something like that. So it really does highlight that for a good customer success story and something where you are actually seeing that success in the customer once you've implemented. It's not just we've got Microsoft 365. There's rarely a customer case study for that. But getting more applications in there and harnessing what Microsoft offers is really valuable. So I've dropped that link in there. Check some of those out. As I say, you might be thinking about your customers. As I say, you can filter by industry, which is just great. But I mean, there's a lot of these resources that are available, and I gave a bit of a sneak peek earlier as to the ones that kind of stand out in my mind as to the ones that I see as some of the best ones. But obviously, I'm just scratching the surface. I did it in 2 minutes, if that. And we know where these resources are. Most of them are in our Teams channel as well. So don't hesitate to get in touch with us and want to talk about more of those resources. We don't have to just talk product to begin with. We can talk about where you can get support from.
You froze at some point there, Matt, but you look concerned when you froze, so we're good.
Never mind. It wasn't important.
Yeah, no, it was all good. It was all good. Maybe it was just my bandwidth here. I also just want to mention for any of the U.S. partners that are here, we do have a push right now around some donation offers that are there for approved nonprofits and charity customers. So there are ways to essentially donate some licenses to an approved charity or nonprofit. If you're curious about that, just message me, dynamics365@ingrammicro.com. Put that in the chat as well, but my own email address is fine too. So for our US based folks, let me know. And for the global team, also mention it, because these do change region to region, country to country, but we can see what's available for you there too. There's, in addition to some of these offers, there are some products up on AppSource that Microsoft has put together specifically for the charity and nonprofit community on tracking fundraising and constituents and those things. So just know that there's a big opportunity that's out there. We all know that there's those commercial plays, but Microsoft is making it really easy for some of these nonprofits too, and it could be a good place for you to sort of cut your teeth and get familiar with the solutions with somebody in an area that really needs it and could really benefit from it.
Awesome. And I will say, you actually touched on a really important point there just by saying the word global. I know we've got obviously a partner from the US and a partner from the UK on today. It is a global program. You know, we operate in many countries across US, Canada, LATAM, EMEA, APAC. I never sleep. So, you know, we do, you know, operate in all these markets, and we have partners that we can work with in these markets. So, you know, regardless of where you are in the world watching this, whether it's on demand or you're here now live, we can work with you and we can support you on your Dynamics journey. Yeah, you're right there, Peter. My first call this morning was at 5 a.m., but I'm gonna get an early night. I mean, with a baby, that's near impossible. I'm gonna try and get an early night. I think I'll put the word try in there. I mean, if no one else has got any questions, I will just open the floor up to our 4 great guests. If there's anything you want to add, speak now. But if you guys are happy, we can close out, and we've gained 3 minutes back of our day.
Just for me, just a quick thank you to Ingram for bringing all this together and sharing the knowledge. I think the opportunities here are so great, and keep doing what you're doing. It's awesome. And thank you for allowing me to participate. I appreciate that.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you very much for inviting me on, guys. And yeah, it's an absolute pleasure to work in the Ingram network, as it were. So many fantastic people. So thanks for listening to me today, and it's been great.
Yeah, just from the Microsoft side, I appreciate all the hard work everyone's doing around Dynamics. I think there's like the potential. There's so much great stuff going on, and the capabilities and the product get me really excited. So thanks for having me, and it was great to hear I learned a lot from everyone as well today. So thanks so much.
Oh, thank you. And thank you, Scott, as always. Massive support. And I'm going to finish this now with Scott's a power platform guru as well. I'm going to call that on this call now. I'm always calling it out. He keeps passing certifications, so I'm going to keep calling it out. But you know, again, we've got more strings to our bow than just Dynamics. It's the whole biz app story. So, you know, as I say, we've got power platform workshops coming up. So please keep an eye on that website, the workshops website. This recording will be on there soon. Yeah, we'll continue to do these. Hopefully you find these really valuable. But yeah, with 1 minute to spare, it looks like I'm going to get the kickoff for the Wales football game now. So bye. Bye everyone. I'll stop recording, and you know, have a good rest of your day or evening wherever you are in the world. Bye everyone.